All right, guys, so today is a legal mod that will get you arrested. This is not clickbait at all. This will actually get you arrested, fined hundreds of thousands of dollars. A lot of you already can tell by the thumbnail what I'm talking about, and we're gonna get into it right now. So here we are. Today's video is all about catalytic converters. Now, we have a broken piece. You saw my short video. The Cayman actually broke a catalytic converter, is going back into the exhaust. Put the vacuum in it, suck this chunk out, and whatever else loose chunks there were. Now that car had to have new converters. We don't like running catalysts here because in our shop, if we start anything up, it stinks the whole place out. And that's the way it is, especially on cold start. So we have a few things here. We have a very, very, very expensive converter off of M5. This is aftermarket. This is all coated. And you can see the spiral action that these have. And this is more like a factory German converter for a German car. And then next to it, we have a cheap converter. This is an eBay situation. And if you can see here, let me get you in the light. Can't we even do it? You can see light poking through it, and it's just like a little grid. Now, this is not a solid converter. So how they make these are called basically a puck converter is a slang for it. And there'll be a puck of converter here. There'll be a space, and there'll be another puck of converter here. And these converters are more commonly used today in American cars. And this happens a lot on those. Now, the Cayman converter was the primary. It was a solid piece, but it was very close to the engine. That's notorious for causing problems. We could tell there's something going on with that car because what happens, here's the front of it. Let me see here. Holy crap. Holy crap. So there's the front of it. And you can see a little bit as we turn it, some of those little holes are getting stopped up. And this is the backside of it. So what happens when they start getting stopped up, can make your engine overheat, your EGTs go through the roof. It can do many, many things. It could also cause a lack of power. This car didn't really have much of either of those, but this car was a smell so atrocious that we were unable to pull that car in the shop anymore. It just smelled like, Chewbacca's farting, and also sounded like Chewbacca farting, right? It had like a weird air rushing sound. I've heard that before, so I knew. And once you could smell it, we knew exactly what was going on. So once that happens, in my opinion, it'll actually produce more potent emissions as these start to break up, fall to the side, get stopped up. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you have this done, and you say, I just want to knock the converter out. And you say, look, fatty, I'm knocking this thing. I don't care what you say. Okay, that's fine. That used to be a real common thing back in the day. Some other countries like China, that still is a thing. You can still do that. They don't come with converters on a lot of vehicles there. A lot of third world countries, I'm not going to go through the list because everybody's going to bitch at me for saying something I shouldn't have on a different country. Anyhow, United States and Europe are the heaviest on the emissions. I think Australia is also pretty heavy. And that was a fantasy that's been pushed over the last several decades. It's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. I can understand that needs to be in place for big cities, inner cities, for air pollution. For the rest of the country, does it really matter? Does it really? Probably not. But trillions of dollars have been spent on making cars run clean. And we're seeing the push now to go to electric, except it's more polluting to make an electric car than is a gas car. So it doesn't make any sense. Trying to push ahead and everything's not in place yet. That's what's happening. And so can you knock these out in today's day and age? You can. What's going to happen? Well, let's say I made a video on knocking one of these out and didn't replace it, right? What would happen? Shortly after the video was posted, the EPA, they're fat on cash right now, boys, and they got not much to do, and they're ready to pounce. They're going to pounce on anybody and everything that's going to say anything negative about it. So EPA, I'm not saying anything negative. This is just a video. I'm not telling anybody to knock out their catalytic converters, to do anything like that. That's not the case. As far as the Cayman goes, we fully plan to replace that broken up converter with a set of catted headers. And not only for reasons of we'll get in trouble, reasons of we go to pull it out of our shop, it's just nasty, all right? Cold start's nasty. Once it's warmed up, it's not. And those cars are very rich running from the factory. Don't yell at me. I don't work at Porsche. You know, I don't know. I'm just telling you the way it is. They're all very rich from the factory. Now, in theory, could you retune that car and make it run cleaner? Yes, you could. Would the EPA be happy with it? Oh, hell no, they won't, boys. They're going to come after you if you do that. So it's a weird situation. It's a lose-lose situation if you have a gas-powered car and it's got some miles on it. And that's the whole thing. You know, the whole angle of this whole deal is, and Europe's already this way, they want you to buy new cars all the time. They're going to start taxing you more on an old car. It's going to be more expensive to own an old car or a V8 or V10 or V12 engine coming down the pike than it would to be a newer 4-cylinder or electric car. And that's been that way of the country for a long time. It is coming here for sure. So the title of this video, this is not clickbait at all. Be very careful what you do if you're tuning anything, if you're modifying anything at all that has to do with emissions. It's getting to the point modifying anything at all anymore is going to be an issue other than cosmetic stuff. And it really is a shame for all of us that like older cars. That's a problem. But we are very lucky being a BMW channel. We rarely ever see a BMW catalytic converter ever stop up. It's very rare. The only ones we ever see stop up are M54 stuff and M52 where the converter's in the manifold. And if you take a converter, like I said, from the factory BMW, it will look exactly like that, right? So thank you, Dwayne, for sending us these headers with this converter that make this video possible. It cannot come at a better time so you can really get here and show the viewers what's what. But that is how the inside of your converter looks, and that's how it's going to look when it starts breaking up. It'll be in chunks just like that, and then you have to try to get it out before it grenades your engine. And on the Red Cayman that we sold, what the problem with that car was, they're breaking up, all the pieces turning sideways. It was actually causing an issue with the engine. Now, once we put the headers on that car and fixed that problem, it still took a while for the car to come back to life. That puts debris on your valves. That puts debris all back through your engine. It can't breathe. This stuff is very dusty. I have a hard time believing, to be totally honest with you here, this is my opinion. I have a hard time believing that the catalytic converter, at the amount of dust and pollutants that you have to use to make that, is actually helping the ozone at all. I think it'll come down the pike one of these days where they figure out the catalytic converters actually did nothing. That's my personal opinion of it. Just the whole outlook on that situation is bizarre. That would ever work or ever cut down on pollutants one bit whatsoever. But what do I know? I'm just some dude on YouTube, right? That's gonna be it, guys. Thanks for watching today's video. Hope you liked the legal mod video. Don't get put in jail. Don't get caught with your pants down. And stay out of the way of the EPA because they're on a rampage, boys. We'll see y'all later.